Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vool, and in this video we're having a look at Panel Stitcher, the add-on from Whiting Graphics. So if you like doing anything cloth related or hard surface related, this is possibly going to be a bit exciting. I'm just going to go into Mesh and I'm going to bring in an icosphere and we'll stick with this. Let's just S to scale it up and Control and A and apply the scale. So we've got an object here, but this could be any mechanical surface that's got a lot of different faces to it. And we want to add, say, rivets, or if this is something organic, we could add stitching or whatever. And this is going to be a little bit painful to do. We can do it, but it's not going to be that simple. Now, this has got a bit easier to do with Blender 5, but it leaves us lacking certain options, which we'll see later. So what we're going to do once this is installed is hit N, and in your create part of the M panel, you will have something called Panel Stitcher. And if you didn't have a create section, then obviously it'll make one for you. And at the moment we've got this object and we want to add some rivets to it. Now there's several ways of doing this. The first is that we can select a source object. I'm going to come back to that, or we can do a collection, or we can use a template. I'm going to click template and you'll see we've made loads and loads of rivets in this instance. So what we can now do is control things like the scale, so we can make them bigger if we want to, and we can control the spacing. So let's put this to like 0.4. So now we've got our rivets with a bigger gap, and we can control the offset and make that so that they're a bit further in. So this could be our rivets. So you can already see how quick and easy this is to manipulate, which is really nice because even the other methods get a little bit annoying when we want to change things around, like this offset. We can also change things. For example, this is setting up the corners, but we could say not to have corners. Let me just change the spacing slightly to make this work. And we've got that there. And I quite like the way this almost makes a circle around each of the corners, so I think that's quite fun. I'm just going to put that back. Now there are lots of other options as well here, so we can change this from rivets to, well, push rivets or pop rivets. I'm not sure what they're actually called, but they have this little dimple in it. And then you've got things like hex screws and so on. You've also got stitching, so we could have like lateral stitching, or we can have lengthways stitching. So if this was clothing, you can see how this would work. We also have the option for cross stitching, but do be a little bit careful with this if you do 3D printing, because this object here is, if we just go into edit mode and look in X-ray mode, you can see that this actually has some overlaps here. It looks very nice, but for 3D printing, that is not going to be perfect. I wish they'd combine this together into one object or one single mesh, instead of having what look like two objects joined together. Now on that, if you'll notice, we're currently not here. So if I come to my icosphere and click down, we've got our panel stitcher generator here, and it's linked to the icosphere. And importantly, we don't have any of the edit options on this. We have them on the original object, and I can still come back to this and change things like the size. So that's sort of the idea here, but there's a lot more to it. Now, on this, in terms of our rivets, I don't really like these rivets that are sort of shallow. This is probably more realistic about what a rivet looks like, but for 3D printing, it won't show up that well, so we need to do something a bit more extreme. So I'm just going to Shift and A, Mesh, and bring in a round cube. Let's just G that over there. Right click, have a look at that again, and our arc is probably a little bit over the top. Let's do somewhere like there. I'm just going to S to scale that down, Control and A, and apply the scale, and then we can come back to this, and I can change this source from template to object. We'll select our object, so we've got our round cube. This was called round cube 10 because I've been playing around with other things. And once again, from here, we can change the spacing, so we can add less or more of them, and we can increase the size if we need to. So really, really handy. Massive fan of this. We can also do some other things, so we can randomize different elements. Let's just change the spacing a little bit. For example, we could change this sideways, so that means up and down, because that's rarely going to be perfect. Depending on if it's been done by a machine or a person, we can change the lengthways distance to have them, again, not perfectly the same. Let's just hit those back to 0. Or, I'm just going to change this from object to template and then go back to our hex. Let's just scale that down a bit. We can also change the rotation, let's put that up, so that our bolts aren't rotated exactly the same, which makes it look a little bit more realistic. Let's just put that back down to 0, and I'm going to go back to my object. And you'll notice it keeps the round cube there as well. Let's just scale that up slightly. So, really liking this. I think this has got a lot of potential just as it is, but it gets way better. So let's start talking about that. So I'm just going to come in and bring another round cube in, and let's just S to scale that up here, and right click, and then change the round cube to have, let's say, something like this. Much more rounded, and if we want to, we can shade that smooth, though for 3D printing that's almost irrelevant. So say we want a bit more control over this. If we come into this and start adding in our panels, this is going to look, well, pretty messy. But say we want to just have this in quarters, what I could do is go into edge mode, shift select there, alt and shift select there, and then control and E, and we could do a mark seam. So we've now got a seam marked on that, and we can come in and do exactly the same thing. Let's go to object, we've got our round cube to be our rivets, and that is now working on every surface, so it's looking a bit of a mess, though kind of interesting. We can then set a filter, so I'm going to turn that to seams. And now, only those edges with seams have got the rivets on it. If this was, let's say, cut in half and you were doing something like a helmet, this would be really useful. And once again, we can change the offset and it just moves really nicely. Now, if at any point I wanted to, I could come in, let's say here, and control click there, control and E, and then mark seam again. And you'll notice this looks like it hasn't done it. We just need to click create mesh, and then it reworks and calculates everything again. So really, really nice. I think this has a lot of potential just for ease of use. The other thing we can do with this selection, let me just bring in this really badly done plane that I've created here. Now there are a range of other filters that we can use. For example, the angle between different faces is potentially really useful, or by the area of certain faces, so that the larger faces get these but the smaller faces don't. You'll notice if we click on that, you get to set the minimum area. But the one that's really cool is that if we just go into this, so I've got a subdivided shape here making up this awfully drawn plane, is that we could, let's in edge mode, select something like here and just start selecting certain panels that we want to have this work on. So I'll just demonstrate this on one side for now, and then we can pick selection, and it will do with the ones that we've just selected. Again, you get some options of how we want to do this. Oh, I've got the wrong object selected. And then once again, scale probably needs working down a little bit, so let's go somewhere to there, and then if we just tab out, we get these really nice looking panels, very quick and easy to do. There is one other that I wanted to show you. Let's just delete out that sphere and we'll come back over here and pretend we've got another sphere. So let's once again bring in our round cube. Let's bring this to about this size. So let's just focus on this and Control and 2 to make this really, really small. And if I was to apply this and start wanting to select edges, this is going to take forever. Now, obviously, we probably wouldn't do this. We'd keep it subdivided, but still we can do something with this. Let's just go to our icosphere and just hide it so it's not visible. But with it still selected, we can also choose to project, and we can set a target for this. So I'm going to choose my target and new round cube, which was number 13. And then you can see these rivets get projected onto our surface. How cool is that? So again, for something like our plane over here, that might be useful for the wings, or you might just want to create other objects so that you can project from them onto a different surface. And we've still got all the control that we normally would do. So for example, we could change our corners to be none, and I think that looks really, really cool. So anyway, I hope you found this as interesting as I did. This is currently, if you're seeing this on Monday, in the cyber sale for Superhive. So if you want to get this now, it is cheaper than it would normally be. I'll put a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, which means you pay no extra for using it, but a little bit of money goes to help support the channel. Hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day.